I've been working on the vegetable plot over the past few weekends as it was dry enough to do so. And so I'm going to put in a couple clips after this of what I did, but I'm also going to talk you through a couple of tips if you're just starting out with your garden. So a few things to consider is whether you want to have a garden that is in containers. You can use Rubbermaid containers, you can use small pots. Definitely go online and check out some of our ebook resources. There are a few about container gardening that would be really helpful for you. If you want to have a plot right in the ground, maybe you have an existing plot, you want to expand, or maybe you haven't done one, there's a bit of prep work that you need to do before you can get gardening. So you want to take a garden spade or shovel and turn over all of the grass that's in the garden. You want to knock off any of the soil and then of course remove the grass itself. Now you'll need to turn over the garden a few times in order to get all of the soil worked up, but also get rid of all of the weeds and debris, and you'll see that's what I had to do in my garden as well. Another tip is considering how big you want your garden to be. Keep in mind that a bigger garden is definitely a lot more work to prep and to maintain, whereas a smaller garden or container garden would be manageable for all ages to do, and certainly get everyone in the family involved when you're working on your garden. There are lots of jobs that kids can do, and when you're working up, these hand rakes are great for kids to work with. While you might want to get the shovel or get a hoe out, they can have some of the smaller tools to work up the soil. Now you want to work up the soil when it's dry enough. If it's too wet, it's going to be a lot harder and it's not going to be worth it. So one test you can do to see if it's dry enough is take a handful of soil, and when you pull your hand apart, if it stays in a clump like that, it's way too wet. You need to let it dry out. But when it starts to crumble and fall apart in your hand, then it's dry enough you can start working up your soil and thinking about planting. Another consideration is how much sun you're going to get in your garden plot. You can see it's a beautiful sunny day up there today, and the spot that I've chosen for our garden is pretty much full sun, a bit of shade at the end of the day, but for the most part a good bit of sun. And finally, another consideration is how much water you could get to that space. If it's really far away from an outdoor tap, or if you don't have a watering can, it's going to be hard to get water to that spot. You could start up a rain barrel and collect water that way, right next to the garden. You can make sure that it's located right next to an outlet, so you can put a hose in and water your garden. Or maybe you have some other helpful strategies that you'd like to share with us. So let's get into the clips now of me working on the garden. So here is our garden plot from last year. I have just been hoeing it this morning to get rid of some of the clumps of grass and weeds that you can see. I'm going to have to do this a few times to get rid of all of them, but here you go. Here's a look at the beginning. Right, today is April the 18th, and I've been working on the garden again. So this is the third time I've worked it over. You can see there are less weeds and grass now. And to do this I used a garden spade and then a hoe. And today as well, it's time to plant our peas. So I've got the green arrow peas here, and I've created a sign for them using an old paint stick. And you can see I've got them all lined up in a row along there. Let's see, I can show you. So for peas, is that going to focus? It might not, but they need to be planted 3 centimeters deep and then 3 to 5 centimeters apart. So about an inch deep and an inch or two apart. That's what I've got here, and now all that's left to do, I'm just going to gently start covering them over so that they're nice and safe. And there you go, that's our planted peas. And that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed all of the hard work that I actually didn't show. I did a lot more work than what I showed in those clips. But it was a lot of fun. I do recommend getting out and trying gardening yourself. It's really a great time and nice to be outside, although I must mention it was very cold when I was out working in the garden. If you would like to learn more about vegetable gardening specifically, I have linked a number of books from Hoopla. So if you go on our website, look up Hoopla, you can check out 9 items a month, and I have a number of resources on there for kids, adults, all different facets of vegetable gardening, and there are a ton of great tips in those resources. So please go on and check it out. And yeah, send us pictures, videos, leave us a comment. We'd love to see how you're getting on with your garden. And pretty soon we'll be planting some other vegetables. It just needs to warm up a bit. Those peas really needed cold temperatures to go in, so that was kind of my motivation to get it done. But we're going to work along together as we get the rest of our vegetables in. So I'm looking forward to it and looking forward to better weather to do that. Take care. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.